Hey everybody, Jim Benson here with Carl Scotland, and we work together on strategy, visual strategy, ways to get how you want to be in the future to be something that you can actually do something about in the present. And we do that through teaching about the X matrix and Hoshin Conry and all of these tools. But what all of these tools break down to is if you collaboratively get together and figure out what your strategy is, then you're more likely to actually achieve it. So in this post today, we're talking about casting. So there's three types of casting. And Carl, do you want to talk a little bit about what those three are?
Yeah, so casting, I mean, I'm going to step back a little bit. Strategy is about change, or good strategy is about change. Like if we don't need a change, we don't need a strategy. We just carry on what we're doing. So casting then is some different ways of thinking about change. So the first one is forecasting. So that's like let's forecast into the future and try and predict what we think the future is going to be like. So we define a future end state, a kind of come up with some kind of solution and forecast that, and then we just implement it. So that's kind of fairly common, fairly reasonably well understood. Then backcasting is kind of saying, well, how are we going to get there? Just defining a solution isn't very helpful. We have to have a plan. We have to know what the steps are to get there. So you backcast from that future state, to work backwards from that future state to where you are now to figure out what those steps are. And then, but again, that's still predictive, deterministic. It's a plan. You're not allowing for any learning that either your plan is wrong or that your future state is wrong,
Hmm.
or that anything changes in between now and then. So the idea of sidecasting is that actually you're just kind of looking at where you are now, and your focus is on where you are now, and you're looking around you, you're casting around you to the side of you to figure out what's our next step. Like, and then you take a step and you kind of cast around you again. So it's much more anchored in the present,
Mhm.
as opposed to looking in the future or working back from the future.
Yeah. And so when you take all of these into a group or as a group, what you can do is you can use forecasting to say, what would we like to be in the future? And then you can use backcasting to say, okay, this is what we'd like to be in the future. Now let's actually come up with a plan or a set of experiments or a hypothesis or whatever we want to call it to get from where we are now to kind of where we'd like to be in the future. And then side casting is like, is this still okay? Is this still okay? I'm gonna take a step. Is this still okay? It's testing the waters of where you're at so that you can get to that plan in the future that you have created in these other two ways. And we know that no plan that we make, no strategy that we set out survives contact with reality. So you make it and then things surprise you. And the way that we fail is if we don't actually understand that our plans are not prescient, that we don't know everything when we start off, and so therefore there will always be ways to work together. And again, the more collaboratively we can do these things, then the more likely we are to have a whole bunch of data points out there with doing side casting that are all out there sensing, saying, this is what's going on. This is kind of weird. How should we change for that?
Yeah. So it's not treating the forecast as a prediction, as like we know this will happen and this will work. It's very much more about might, what might work. Um, so and then that's just an option rather than a guarantee.
Mhm. So Carl and I are going to be doing a bunch of things coming up. We're going to have several workshops online that talk about different ways that leaders and leadership integrates with strategy. So a leader doesn't just come up with strategy. Leadership is actually developing strategy with others, and we're having a conversation about that for the aspirations, like what are the general goals, the desires of your group, the strategies, which are, how are we strategically setting ourselves up to achieve those aspirations, the
What are
tactics.
say that what are the challenges that we need to overcome?
There you go. Um, then tact. Well, then do you want to do it the other way? Because you do.
Yeah, so and
You
this so then the evidence. So if our strategy is working, what kind of short-term or proximate outcomes might we start seeing? Well, how would we tell whether we're making good progress or not? And then tactics last. So what things do we need to do which are gonna help us implement our strategy and should generate that evidence that we think is gonna tell us we're doing the right thing?
Absolutely. So we're going to be doing individual workshops on those. The links are in the document or in the in the write-up for this video. They are in our Luma calendar, so that'll always have everything that we're doing in it. We're also going to be live and in person in Bristol in the UK in November, early November. So please check those things out and like and subscribe and do all of those other video things that you're supposed to do. And we will talk to you soon.